Very warm welcome to all of you from Mohanji Foundation and Amocare Charitable Trust to this disaster preparedness webinar. Mohanji, a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So this whole initiative has been inspired and guided by Mohanji. And before we start the session, first of all, it's a deep pleasure that Mohanji is here to guide us. And we would like to start with Father sharing his visions behind this whole disaster preparedness program. And also, along with Father, we have our two esteemed guests, Dr. Nikita Naredi and Dr. Harpreet Vasir, who have joined us here. And they'll be sharing their valuable insights about disasters and how we need to be prepared for them. So they'll individually be making presentations and addressing some key points, which are very crucial because this is one aspect which we often overlook. And that's what they are going to sensitize us about today. So before that, Mohanji, welcome. And we would like to request you to share your insights and your vision about this whole initiative of disaster management and disaster preparedness.
Yeah, I have already shared my views about why we need to have a disaster management training program. So, if possible, maybe Dr. Naredi can tell about it, if you have it, so that I can add what I have.
Sure, Father. Sure, Father. So it is important for us to understand about disasters. There are lots of why and how, but before that, the what is important. So we need to know that what are disasters. They are catastrophes and there are occurrences which have deep impacts in our life. So here we have Dr. Nikita Naredi, who's going to talk to us about disasters, the common disasters which we may encounter in our lives, and also how to be prepared for them. So over to you, Dr. Nikita.
Yeah, Dr. Vasir also is fully aware of it.
Yes.
If Madhu is there, and begin the. I think we have very detailed explanation about the.
So I think we've shared it with the group also, but I can share with people.
Please do.
Okay. Thank you very much to everybody for joining this webinar. Dr. Nikita and Dr. Vasir are of course experts in their field. They will share some tips and knowledge about how we can be prepared for disaster. But like Mohanji said, I think it's important for all of us to appreciate why this whole effort is required. And there may be questions about why now, but I will try to share the perspective that Mohanji gave us. The why now, actually, there is no great answer to it. It is better now than never, because as Mohanji says, for some things you can't really plan. If it has to be done, it has to be done now, because a disaster doesn't give you warnings. It can strike anytime. And it is important for us as a group and as individuals and to take care of our people, immediate ourselves, our families, as well as all the people in the network in the best way possible. So the right answer to why now is because it is better to do it as soon as you have the idea, so that people can mentally prepare for it, because these things come without warning. So the vision that Mohanji has laid out for this is that he wants us and then through us others to be empowered to deal with any situation that may come. Mohanji Foundation's vision has always been about empowering and creating stable people through various initiatives. This is preparing people to deal with a very specific set of events that may happen whenever they happen. We've already seen a series of disasters in the last few years in India and other parts of the world. This year we've had, besides the COVID, we've had forest fires, we've had cyclones, we've had earthquakes of varying magnitude. So these things can continue to happen, and there are always predictions that more of this is likely to happen in the coming years. So our objective is, first of all, to get our immediate group, that is people within the Mohanji family and the extended Mohanji family, well prepared of how we deal with any situation if it were to arise, so that we are not panicking, number one, and we are safe, and we keep all the people that we are in contact with safe as well. So that's the first point. The level next from this is that once we have perfected this and we've understood how to deal with this effectively, we actually look at ramping this up to cover more people and larger sections of society. At which point, we will also be looking at connecting with the government and making this a more official and a larger effort so that we cover, a large part of India, and we extend this knowledge and this value addition that we've done to ourselves to a larger part of the society, and take the government support as well and make it a very official and a much larger program. The third level of this is really looking at how to extend this to schools and other institutions and make it part of the curriculum so that this becomes part of training. So, for example, I know that in some countries like Japan or, for example, Peru, which are highly earthquake prone, even schools prepare children on how to deal with, situations like earthquakes. So Mohanji's vision is that starting from children and from young age, everybody is taught as to how to be prepared so that they in turn spread that positivity and that confidence to people around them. I think that's the third level. And the fourth level, what he's given us as a vision is that once we do all of this, we actually take it to our global community wherever we have a presence and extend the same learning and the confidence that we derive from this preparation to, as much of the world as we can cover. So in short, this is the vision that he has shared with us. So what we are initiating today is the first step, where we are sharing some insights that our experts have put together with this group. This will be followed by sharing some information on email to all that have registered, which will give you some tips and tricks to prepare and digest at home at your own convenience. We will also be putting this video up on YouTube for others who have not been able to join today. And what we are also working on, I think we've started that initiative in the National Capital Region, and we will extend that to the other parts. We are also working on our own crisis response team so that all of our Mohanji network is well equipped to deal with anything when, as and when any situation arises. So that is in short some context. I think that would be helpful. And Father, if you think I've missed something.
That's fine. That's fine. So probably now Dr. Naredi can continue on that. It looks like I'm moderating now.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much. This is your blessing.
And after that, Dr. Vasir.
Yes, thank you, Father. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Good evening, esteemed members, Mohanji family. It is indeed my privilege that I have been assigned with a task to sensitize all of you on a very pertinent event and something which is a demand of today's era, that is disaster preparedness. And before I embark on the agenda for today, I offer my heartfelt gratitude and prayer to Mohanji, without whose vision, path, and guidance, this program would not have seen the light of the day. You would be wondering why this beautiful lady on the screen. I begin my talk by quoting Petra Nemkova, a beautiful Czech model and entrepreneur who herself is a tsunami survivor, and she has been working relentlessly since 2014 on disaster preparedness. I quote her, "Despair is most often the offspring of ill preparedness. We cannot stop disaster, be it natural or man-made, but we can definitely arm ourselves with knowledge so that lives may not be lost if there was enough disaster preparedness. Preparedness, when properly pursued, is a way of life, not a sudden spectacular program. So we need to understand what is disaster preparedness. So without much ado, I get on to the business. And before we know what preparedness we need to do, the first thing which we need to understand are what are disasters. We all know it is a very common term, but just for an understanding, disaster is an occurrence causing widespread destruction and distress. It is a catastrophe, a grave misfortune which has a potential to cause disruption or damage to people, their lives, property, and everything around. And these disasters are primarily of two types, natural and man-made. The major natural disasters are earthquakes, floods, and cyclones. And many of us would have even encountered these disasters in a lifetime. Man-made ones are the fire outbreaks, train accidents, and something which we all are reeling under for last 8 months, the pandemics, the present COVID pandemic. As far as the warning signs are concerned, some disasters do give us a warning signs like floods and cyclones, but others like earthquakes give us no warning signs. So we need to be prepared. We need to arm ourselves with knowledge to how to prepare ourselves, our kith and kin, our neighbors, in case disaster calls us. And when we bid adieu to 2019 and stepped into 2020, we were all very happy that we're entering into a new century. But little did we know that in just these 8 months, we would be facing so many disasters. So it is not globally, but our country itself has faced so many disasters in last 8 months, be it the floods, the cyclone, which the eastern part of our country is facing again and again, Orissa and Bengal, now the floods in Assam, landslides in Uttarakhand, the gas tragedy in Visakhapatnam, which happened even after the corona, and the locust swarming. And last but not the least, the corona pandemic, about which we really don't know when we will be able to get over. As far as the effects of a disaster is concerned, it is manifold. It affects not only humans, it affects every species, and it affects multiple aspects of our life, starting from loss of life to injury, to damage and destruction of property and production, whether they are companies, industries, farms, and so it leads to total disruption of lifestyle. And this we can see because we are facing it, loss of livelihood. We saw the fishermen, how they lose their livelihood during cyclones, and there is disruption to all kind of communication and transportation. So what are the aims and objectives of preparedness? First and foremost, prevention and mitigation. That is, measures which are taken to prepare and reduce the effects of disasters. And thus, disaster preparedness should be a continuous and integrated process, not a one-time process that if we have learned today, we don't need to practice it again. So the objective is to increase the efficiency, effectiveness, and impact of disaster emergent response mechanism at individual level, community level, and overall at national level. So we have to address the daily activities which involve risks and we might face ourselves. For example, fire. Fire we can face anytime during our lifetime. It's not a natural disaster, but a fire at home, fire at residential complex, at corporate offices. So we can suddenly face it. So in a nutshell, the aims of crisis preparedness is to avoid, if possible, the potential losses from the hazards, assure prompt and appropriate assistance to oneself and people around, and achieve rapid and durable recovery. Disaster scenarios, once seemed merely theoretical, have now become a disturbing reality, and we know that. So in emergency preparedness, we need to make a plan. So all households should have a plan that if we have a disaster, how do we need to act? We need to build a kit, an emergency kit, which can sustain you for a week, whether it is terms of food, whether it in terms of emergency medicines or water. And for this, we need to be informed. And that is the purpose of this starting of today's webinar. Now I come to the various kinds of disasters and what preparedness we need to do. I would not be going into the technical aspects of the disaster itself because it is out of the purview of our talk. I would only discuss on the preparedness. As far as earthquakes are concerned, the preparedness I will be dividing into before the disaster, during the disaster, and after the disaster. So as far as before earthquakes are concerned, we all need to see and inspect our houses. It's not only the earthquake prone areas. In fact, any of these can have disaster. So we need to repair the deep plaster cracks on the walls and ceilings, fasten all things which are loose in our houses, like shelves and all. And a very important aspect, which we'll be delving in detail subsequently, is to prepare an emergency kit which can sustain us with essential items for safety and survival. The other important aspect is that we as a family should first start with ourselves. So we should develop an emergency communication and evacuation plan for our own family. And each and every family member should be aware about this, when to communicate and how to evacuate if we face a disaster. And a technique of drop, cover, and hold, which I will be discussing subsequently, is the one which might sound that why do we need to practice, but we need to know. Because once we face an earthquake, we all just panic and run around. But if we know this technique, we can save ourselves and even save our senior citizens and small children at home. And if the earthquakes happen, what do you need to do? First and foremost, stay calm and do not panic. We should stay wherever we are. and move outside only when the tremors stop. If one is traveling in a car, one should not be in a hurry to get out of the car. Stay inside the car till the tremors stop. And we should avoid using any inflammable objects when the tremors are going on. Stay away from mirrors and windows, and the technique of dropping, covering, and holding. So as far as the technique of drop, cover, and hold on is concerned, this is one thing which we all need to understand, and it will be reiterated again and again. Drop, cover, and hold on means we drop wherever we are onto our hands and knees. This position protects us from being knocked down during an earthquake if something falls us, and we are allowed to stay low and crawl to shelter if there is any nearby object. So we drop on the floor and we cover our head and neck with one arm and hand. If a sturdy table or desk is nearby, we should crawl underneath it for shelter. And if there is no shelter, go near a wall which is away from the windows. And hold on means if you are able to go inside under a shelter, hold on to your shelter with one hand and other over your head. And if the shelter also moves, you should be ready to move with the shelter like a table or a desk. And suppose you are not you cannot reach a shelter, hold on to your head and neck with both arms and hands, because you have to protect yourself, you have to protect your vital organs, and you have to, only when you are able to protect yourself, you will be able to protect others. And once the earthquake subsides, so the preparedness or which we need to know is we should move cautiously and check for unstable objects, because if we have escaped the tremors, after the earthquake, the tremors and the objects which are hanging can fall on your head. Anticipate aftershocks, especially of major earthquakes. People who are staying near water bodies, they should go away from the water bodies, especially beaches, because tsunamis hit during that time as the seismic floor starts moving. Do not spread and believe in rumors. And we should leave a message in case we are evacuating the house, so that the relief operations, when they are carried out, they know where you are. And we should not, and people who are staying in metropolitan cities and they are stuck up in the road should not attempt to cross bridges, flyovers, which may have been damaged because of the earthquake, and unnecessarily, not because of the earthquake, but because of the damage, one can lose life or limb. At community level, which again I would reiterate is very important, is practice drop, cover, hold drills regularly. We should start with the family, and then if we are staying in societies, we should take an initiative and teach everyone about this drill. Practice evacuation drills regularly, and we should take an initiative to make exit routes and mark them in high rises, so that if there is an evacuation happening during earthquakes, we know we should not use the lift and use staircase. So after earthquakes, I come to fire. Fire, we know, can happen any day, any time, because we don't know how the electrical system is working. Sometimes it can be because of carelessness, and sometimes it might come just unannounced. So are we ready? So as far as the preparedness for fire is concerned, we should prepare and practice a response plan for both residential and office complexes. With so much electrical wires hanging here and there, we need to know that fire can befall, fire outbreak can happen anywhere. Regularly carry out and practice fire rescue drills such as stop, drop, and roll. There it was drop, cover, and here it is stop, drop, and roll. We need to understand and ensure that all residents and visitors are periodically trained to face different emergency situations and provide first aid. In fact, in many of the schools these days, they are doing fire drills. They are teaching children, and as Madhu said, and as Mohanji's vision, we should reach to this preparedness and these drills to various colleges and even involve students, because they are the ones who can teach at their homes. So before a fire outbreak happens, and we should see that we are prepared at our homes and complexes, we should ensure that exit routes are marked and firefighting equipment is working properly. We would all agree that many times we have firefighting equipments in our society, in the corporate offices, but when the day the fire breaks, we find that the firefighting equipment is not working properly. We would all have encountered it. So only when the drill is there and a periodical check is happening and a logbook is maintained, will we be able to do it on ground. Ensure that at house and office premises, we have a first aid kit placed at every segment, so that if there is a mishap, we know where to go. We should not leave any open fire unattended, and something which we need to impart into our members of the family, the domestic helps, that we should not accumulate old newspapers and combustible materials in our house. If the fire happens, what do? raise an alarm and inform the fire brigade as soon as possible. And again, same thing which I will reiterate after every disaster is that we should not panic and stay calm. Only when we are cool-headed can we do some actions. Unplug all electrical appliances, and we should try to extinguish the fire with whatever we have. And in case the fire outbreak has happened in a closed room, we should close the doors and other openings. We should prevent the fire from spreading from one room to the other. Try and place a wet cloth under the doors to stop the smoke from spreading, and cover the wet cloth over your own mouth also to prevent inhalation and preventing a lung injury. Exit immediately if the fire is out of control, and we should not run after for getting our possessions, because at that time what is more important is saving your life and life of your family and kitten rather than the possessions. And in case of burn injuries due to fire happens, pour water over burn until pain subsides. This is a very, very important thing, because many a times we try to use many other home remedies, but the only important thing at that time with burn injury is water, and continuous water pouring can actually prevent the intensity of the burns. And if trapped in a fire, stop wherever you are, drop. And if you have a blanket, you can cover yourself with a blanket and roll. If not, then just take both your arms over the chest and roll over the floor. So stop, drop, and roll is the fire drill. Now we come to the flood preparedness. Floods, we know we have been facing it time and again, and we have been carrying out a lot of relief operations from the AMOCare Foundation.
Nikita, do you want to stop and ask if people have questions? Because you've shared quite a bit of knowledge.
I was wondering.
Feeling that we should hold our explanation, the full this thing, it should be in the middle. But if there are anything to brief in the beginning, it's better. We can start at floods afterwards.
No, Madhu, I think we are right. Father, you're right that maybe, we can just break it up a little bit and try and understand everything. Thank you very much and welcome to this webinar. And thank you, Father, for this initiative. Now, I would like to see it in this way, that I am a part of the audience. I am a layman with absolutely no knowledge of a disaster, which is a fact. So I need to really figure out what should be my thinking process in the learning of this word as a disaster management. Now, I feel that, we are all common people thinking about the most uncommon thing, which is a disaster. However, we are aware of the fact that this is not the first time this thing has happened, and this is not going to be the last time when this is going to happen. We have overcome many disasters. We've overcome many, not first time, but this will also go. The only difference is that this is a global phenomenon now. This is not a personal, this is not happening in one place. It's happening in many places. So the way I understand this is, how do I understand this word disaster? In my mind, I think a disaster is something which is widespread destruction. So when this word widespread destruction comes into my mind, I have to understand how does it start my thinking me more wiser than was yesterday than what I am today, keeping in mind that we are facing all this and we might be able to face much more of this. So the hallmark of this whole thing is a disaster, then a disaster management. Keeping this in mind, the first thing which I think I need to keep in mind is, what is the aim? What is the aim of all this? What's the aim of all the studies which we are doing and presentations and all? The first thing is awareness. I think we have to start with the fact that we have to be aware of the fact that there is something which is called a disaster. We have to be aware of it. We have to keep on thinking it. We have to keep on reinforcing this. The second thing is preparedness. So if we explain to ourselves that yes, awareness and preparedness, keeping these two things in mind, whatever we read, whatever we listen to, it can recapitulate in a much more better way. The common things which Nikita mentioned, flood, earthquakes, fires, cyclones, these are common things which many of us have not gone through in the first hand. But the way the circumstances are going on, We may face these things any day now. Now, what is the difference? The difference is that these things are of a sudden onset. There is no warning. There's going to be no warning of a fire. There's going to be no warning of an earthquake, of a flood or anything. So if the awareness is there, we'll be able to be prepared about the whole thing. We have to be ready and not start preparing at the time once we start facing it. So we have to always keep this in our mind that yes, this thing exists. This thing is there. We may be going to face this, maybe if not tomorrow, day after, any time. So we have to be prepared with awareness of this whole thing. An earthquake or a big fire or something is not going to come and ask us that can I come or not. It's just going to come. Like anything else in life, I think it's very important. The time has come. The time is today that we have to be conscious of the fact that yes, we have to be prepared of all these things now. We have to see for our own selves as an individual and then as a family. We have to keep in mind the fact who are the family members under one roof. How many members are there? Children, adults, elders. This is very important. We have to start with the beginning of the fact that what is going to be the foundation of understanding disasters and disaster management. Once we start understanding it, step by step, everything will start coming. We have to keep on reinforcing in ourselves again and again, just like what is happening today in the corona. Just because we are reinforcing the importance of a mask, hand hygiene, and social distances, we have been able to take care and prevent so many things. So when we talk about disaster and disaster management, we have to have a mindset. We have to get that thought block out that yes, everything is going on good. So we have to be mentally prepared about it. At the same time, if we keep on reinforcing all these things, there's going to be no panic. And that is the most important which we have to keep in mind. On reinforcing, be aware and be prepared. Once all this thing is there, there's going to be no panic in this whole thing. Let's be aware of all our individual home surroundings. Where do we live? How many rooms are there? What is the elevation? What if this happens? What if a fire happens? What if an earthquake happens? Awareness of our immediate surrounding. If suppose there's an earthquake, which is the nearest entry, which is the nearest exit, which is all that. Once we start with the basic foundation, it's going to be easier for us to understand as well as learn all the points which Nikita had shared. So let's start with the beginning. Yes, it's difficult times, but we have to understand, we have to make a beginning, right? Now, again, whenever we are free on a holiday or any other day, we just have to reinforce in our minds, where am I staying? What is the position of the surroundings? Is there space outside? Is there space at the back? So we have to prepare ourselves mentally, do a mock drill or something like a dry run that yes, if suppose the water just elevates and it starts coming within the house, comes within the basement, what are we going to do? So I think it all has to start from here. It all has to start from our mind that yes, this is what I'm going to be prepared if this thing happens. This is going to make it very simple to understand and to learn all the points in detail once we go through the presentations, once we have all the theoretical matter in our mind. So I think the bottom line is we have to start within ourselves. We have to start within our minds of the thinking of being aware and being prepared that yes, I'm going to start now. If I start now, all the people in my family, including the children, are going to start. And that's how we have to begin. That's how we have to start this whole thing of disasters and disaster management. And that's when the learning from whatever Dr. Nikita has shared is going to be very, very helpful in the future.
Thank you. I would like to say how this thought evolved. Can I go ahead?
So anyway, see, we have Amuk doing 5 things: food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare. These are the 5 aspects of Amuk Act Foundation. And we have been doing that for the last 17 years. We have been making a difference in people's lives through various aspects of these 5 segments. And this has given us a lot of satisfaction and contentment. But from 2018 onwards, we have seen huge natural disasters, forest fires, which completely changed the structure of the earth, the ecology of the earth. Amazon fires, Australian fires, Siberian fires, African fires, so much of forests are destroyed. If a fire happens in Australia or Africa, it affects the world. And when it affects the world, it affects everybody, 7.5 billion people. So one is that now with this corona situation, we have understood that most of the things of life are not in our control. We had to compromise on our habits. We had to compromise on our lifestyle. We had to compromise on various things. So we had to practice flexibility. Now, on another level, we have to now understand and how we can help ourselves and help our community in case of disasters. As Dr. Nikita Commander said, Colonel Nikita, sorry, said the two aspects. One is the natural calamities, one is the man-made calamities. Both are same. Basically, they create unrest, they create displacement, they create destruction. Lives are lost. So according to me, both are same. How do we handle them? We have gone through the dissection by Colonel Dr. Naredi, but what we need to know is that we need to understand all these are at our doorstep. Anytime an earthquake can happen in the Himalayan belts, major earthquake, anytime any kind of natural disasters can happen, like floods and various things, cyclones, floods, we have experienced them. And it has intensified from 2018 onwards. Now it is time we acknowledge it. Not just acknowledge and say that it won't happen to us, but acknowledge and do something about it. Yeah, so this is actually an extension of the AmmuCare activity. And the reason for this extension is that this is a natural progression. On one side, now with this corona situation, we have seen there has been an economic meltdown. So many people, many companies are closed or they can't function. And a lot of people have lost their jobs. When a lot of people lose their jobs, it leads to a psychological breakdown in the society. Means the collective consciousness of the society is affected. So we are working on various systems and methods to balance the psychological situation of the people. So that's happening on the side, and even this is part of it. On the other side, when actually a disaster happens, what do? We all should know and we all should tell others. This is purely seva, service. And we must make a kit convenient for people to use. And if they are oriented, they will not be confused. Like, for example, when I remember there was, we have worked from 2003 onwards, ACT Foundation and AmmuCare are working. I think 2003 or 4 when the Lebanon war happened. War happened in Lebanon suddenly, and there were a lot of destruction and displacement. So we decided from Dubai to support them with medical aid. So what I said was, don't just send medicines, make kits where doctors can do surgery in the war field. So there are materials. There were doctors in our group, like Dr. Basir is there with us, Reddy. So we always had doctors with us, so that helped us. So they made kits particularly where they can open the kit and work on a patient right away in the war field. So like a first aid, larger first aid kit. And this was well appreciated by Red Crescent. Red Crescent said, you have thought about it. There is a thought behind it. So we would like to do things well thought of, not just do something. Do things with a clear thought, with clarity. So that is why this group is formed, and all are substantial people in the group. The group, everybody has caliber. Nobody is ordinary. And whether they have worked on disaster management themselves or they have learned about it, doesn't matter, but actually they are practical people. So I brought this group together to create something which is applicable to any part of the world. We will not look at country, culture, caste, religion, language. We don't look at anything. We only look at humanity and we help humanity. So we are not worried about the color, caste, culture. We are not worried about anything. We just look at a need and a support. So we are truly global citizens. We believe in the pain of everybody. And we try to do something which will ease that pain. So this is the idea behind this activity. And on the other side, we have worked on World Consciousness Alliance. That is to raise the awareness of the people to reach the great refined human existence, such as operating in compassion, kindness, selflessness, unconditional love, and such things. So through performing arts, through music, entertainment, all those things, so that people understand that this is how we should live. Religions have divided people a lot. Languages have already divided. Various aspects have divided. It's for us to unite. Usually when disasters happen, people unite. But now we should unite purposefully for the sake of all beings of earth. So one segment is this aspect. This will be one of the major aspects also. This can be, because we would like to take it to the world. Same principles, same kits, same things which are useful for an individual as well as a family as well as society. So we are covering the entire spectrum. In other words, we have something to do with all the places of earth and people of the world. I repeat, we have something to do for everybody. You know, there is nothing that we have, or what will we do now? We should never be in a state where we don't know what to do. We should never be in a state where we lack clarity. So a bit of preparation is important. And it is important that the children, right from the small age, understands, okay, there are things like this, and if that happens, what do we do? I will tell you one example. In 2004, when the tsunami hit the eastern coast of India and all over, I mean, tsunami hit everywhere, Indonesia and Bay of Bengal coast, everywhere, all the countries. But people were not prepared. They did not understand that this is such a disaster, and huge number of people died and people were completely at awe. They did not know what to do. I was not there, but then AMUCARE was active at that time. Somebody from AMUCARE contacted me and said, Mohanji, we need a lot of money. I said, you'll get nothing. What can you do individually, locally? By the time you get money, etc., it will be 2-3 days, 4 days. By the time this situation will be very, very, very difficult. I said, conglomerate all the organizations and volunteers available in your place, in your country. Bring everybody together. Take a leadership about how we can handle this situation effectively. Because many of these people had got quick orientation from us and said, okay, first and foremost, food and water in places which are isolated. That was number one. Number two, immediately you cordon off people from the people who are dying or are dead. The people who are dying, take them to hospitals or take them elsewhere so that they can survive, or take them out and take care of them. So like that, we segmented things, and without waiting for any support from outside, using the current team, available team, using conglomerating and collecting the volunteers available locally, uniting all the voluntary organizations, asking for help from the government and police. We worked a lot. And we did great, not just worked, we did extremely great. That is because we had clarity. Thinking from the toes, right? There's no time to sit down and think. That time you need to know, okay, this has to be done. I would like to create like that a team who knows exactly how to do, what to do, when to do, when anything happens. It could be a riot, simple riot in the street, or it could be an earthquake or a disaster or a landslide or a calamity, epidemic, pandemic, whatever. We should know what to do. So that's exactly how we would like to operate. This is the vision. And it should reach to the grassroots level, to the government offices and to children's schools and all those places, various voluntary organizations, and let them replicate it. We have no problem. We are not copywriting it, but we set a trend. We would like to set a trend, a thought process where people understand, yes, this is not a small thing, this is very big, and we need to be clear, and we need to be aware, and we need to be purposeful. So it's in a broad spectrum we are thinking. Many countries we know are earthquake prone, and various countries are expecting tsunamis in this decade, 2000 to 2010. And how prepared are we? I think about 16 minor tremors happened in Delhi and NCR. So we can't take anything for granted. Or it's only 5 or 4.5 in Richter scale. So Richter scale, I'm fine. It's not so. When it will become 7.5 and 8, we don't know. So everything can be turned around in no time. And 2010 to 2020 is hugely critical. We must be ready now. So this is what I wanted to say. Anybody has a question, I will answer. Please go ahead with questions. Did I terrorize you?
Yes, we are scared now.
I'm very scared now.
That's why I was not opening my mouth. That's why I was keeping my mouth closed.
No, but when we see your face, all the fear goes away. No fear.
I can't hear you.
I said, when we see your face, all the fear goes. Like Baba says, why fear? I am here.
That's true. No need to be afraid.
Yes, we are not afraid.
I keep my face ferocious so that I can get my work done. Yeah. But we got to, I mean, I'm open with questions, please.
When are the better times going to come?
I'm not an astrologer. We should check with an astrologer. Let's prepare ourselves for something good. Let us be optimistic.
Yes.
I'm a very practical person. I like to be practical. That's why we're doing all these things.
Mohanji, in our region, like we have landslides due to the deforestation.
I know. No, we also intend to do forestation now. We are planning to roll it out. Madhu will know this. He's the boss. I only follow orders. So Madhu will tell when we are ready with the forest. Now we can't do much because of the corona situation, right?
Yes.
But we would like to do various things. See, this is just one aspect of it. We are doing so many other things. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I do not have time to breathe. We have so much of work. So we're doing so many different things now. But this is a very important thing where people are really empowered to handle crisis. This is very important. One is the physical level, the other one is psychological level. Both are important. How to handle a crisis, the psychological crisis, and how to handle a physical. So this is the material physical side. Anybody else?
Mohanji, you mentioned about landslides somewhere.
Sorry?
Landslides taking place in certain areas.
No, I was mentioning about landslide, which we handled when earlier, with like 17 years of AMUCare, ACT Foundation. We handled landslides in Philippines. We handled landslides in Iran, in various places. But what happens is, by the time the landslide happens, so many deaths happen already because it's like an avalanche. Before we could reach, we can't do much. But then whatever is left over, whatever we try to take out, we do help. See, so many of these things we have to prevent. Like Nirupama said, that we have to have sufficient trees so that landslides don't happen too much. It's deforestation has affected a lot.
See, landslides can also occur due to loose soils.
Correct.
And to prevent that, there is something known as soil nailing, which
Right.
is not practiced in India. So what they do normally, they put up a pipe inside, and then they put concrete inside that. So it binds the soil, the earth. It prevents landslides.
These informations, if you can pass it on to the AMUCARE team, then we can probably look at it.
Okay.
Good idea. Thank you. Anybody else?
Father, in this pandemic situation, a lot of my friends have lost their jobs actually, and they are fully negative. How can I make them positive in this situation?
We're doing sufficient work to do that. I think this is mostly Mohanji Foundation. We have started a help desk in the main website to answer the question to these people and to guide them out of their depressive states. So we are already doing it. I think if you speak to some of the acharyas, they will be able to guide you.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Jai Mohanji. Hi, my name is Nisha.
Hello, Nisha.
Hi, Mohanji. I'm so happy to see you today. Mohanji, I wanted to ask you one question. About disasters, no? People think that when they strike, we will see. And that is the unfortunate part. How do we overcome that mentality, Mohanji, that, it can strike anytime and awareness is what we need to have?
Yeah. So what we will do is that in the website itself, we'll have a page created for this, for this managing disaster. And I would like to change the name from disaster because it's a very negative name. It's something which Dr. Vasir and Colonel Naredi, all of you can fix something better. But the negative mindset is that why are you talking negative? But when the crisis comes, they don't know what to do. So what we need to do is that we need to lead it with our life. We should address it with openness and with love and with care, so that they understand. Okay, this has to be understood, and we should make some nice videos and nice presentations, small short videos. How to it's easy to watch and understand. We need to do a bit of creative work there, so that people find it easy to follow and understand and follow. Mindset cannot be changed easily. It will take time, but at least we walk the steps. We take steps towards it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nisha.
Thank you, Mohanji.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Father, if I might just add one thing.
Yes.
You just mentioned a very, very important word, the mindset. And I think the biggest example we have today is the mindset of understanding the corona, right? When it started, there was zero mindset. That's the reason it ended up in a pandemic. Then the second stage,
corona have more mercy. The natural disasters sometimes have no mercy, like tsunami, no mercy. It comes,
absolutely,
bangs and goes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the second stage came when everybody came into that feel-good factor that everything is going fine. The shops are opening up, the malls are opening up, the buses are opening up. Then the mindset changed. And then...
Yeah. No, we have a good team. See, our strength is we have excellent team, very strong people with us. So what we do is that with our life, we can show that some of these things are important. See, we got to be practical before we become spiritual. This is very important. So this is the practical side of our spirituality. This is the real practical side of our spirituality. where we are addressing a situation head on and with with full clarity, with no doubts. You know, Corona has become a cliche now because of the televisions and everybody talks only about Corona, and that's kind of now people don't want to see. But you know what? Every situation is like that. Everything will take its time to digest. It'll go within. Anyway, we are on the right track. That's all we can say.
Yes,
Baba,
Father.
this step is also very, very important. Like, as I was also making this presentation and studying for it, we realized that actually we take this crisis management for too much lightly. So we've understood that actually when we start at our own individual level, then only we can reach at a broader perspective.
Yeah, Colonel Naredi, you will congratulate yourself after some time that I'm glad I moved it now. You know, this will all come effective. Nothing will go wasted. You know, this will all come in handy. It will come in handy.
It was a big eye opener for myself. Although we are facing, we face as patients, we see patients who come with disaster, but we ourselves don't arm ourselves with disaster preparedness.
Yeah. No, we feel that it's not ours, right? We don't have a problem. Everybody else, like that is that kind of pleasure we get when we watch the TV or it's a floods elsewhere. I'm fine, but that's not the case. We must do something when we can do. Yeah. Anybody else? Hello.
Mohanji, good evening. I'm Shashi
Good
Kumar
evening.
from Pune.
Yes, Shashi.
Yeah, right now I do not have any questions, but I would like to meet you one day.
Thank you. We will meet. Let the COVID bless us to meet.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mohanji.
Mohanji, namaste.
Namaste.
My name is Kartika and I'm from Cochin.
Hello, Kartika.
I'm so glad because I got an opportunity to meet you because I've been
Pleasure is
following
mine.
yes, a lot of your speeches and all in YouTube and all. And this is a wonderful opportunity. I become the part of Mohanji family for only 2 months. But
You're
I
always a
must
part
say,
of the family.
yeah, because I don't know how I am so overwhelmed with joy. And actually, I'm very much impressed by the idea of doing social service because
Yeah.
your idea that what touched me is that we are receiving a lot of help and blessings from lot of people, unknown people, and it's our duty to return all those things to the society.
Absolutely. True.
Yeah, but I am also afraid that I don't know how to do the social service and all. I am very much interested in it, but I don't know how
This
to
is
do
a
it.
family. This is a family, right? So you will automatically be empowered. Automatically, people will connect. All these people are your relatives. So,
Yes, I'm
just
so blessed.
yeah. So it will happen. Don't worry. It will happen.
Yeah,
Clarity will
I
come
always,
spontaneously.
yes, I always want to be part of it so much.
You are. You
And
are
I'm
part of it.
so blessed. I'm so happy to talk with you.
Nice talking
Thank
to
you
you.
so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Lots of love. Lots of love.
Lots of love to you also. Love you so much. Thank you.
Good evening, Mohanji. My name is Ravi Teja.
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah, Mohanji, I have got a small suggestion that I want to take a small web series or on these environmental disasters, and
Right.
also a small research team should be deployed so that we foresee all these things before it gets, and continuous awareness program should be done on this. So in the name of web series, because the digital media itself is the catching the eye of the public right now.
Right.
So I hope this is a small suggestions.
Beautiful, Ravi. Beautiful. Dr. Naredi, please, Nikunj, please take a note of this.
Yes, Father.
Thank you, Mohanji.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ravi.
Mohanji, and I also I'm Raviteja itself, and
Yes.
I want to make up a small program like Panchabhuta Aradhana, like this, anything which related to the 5 elements of the universe, which
Okay.
they get connected to the 5 elements. So it becomes part and parcel of our living lifestyle.
Okay.
So then slowly, when they get attached to these, the Panchabhuta, I hope the nature takes care of the things and the nature pulls over all these people to that direction. This is just my feeling, Mohanji.
You give your suggestion to Nikunj so we can work that out. Yeah?
Father, I'm noting it all down. I'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you. So may I take your leave now? So you please continue. Anybody else? Anything? I'm taking your leave. Okay, you proceed. I'll take your leave. Thank you very much. Lovely meeting all of you.
Thank you. Om Sai Ram. Om Sai Ram.
Om Sai Ram.
Lovely meeting all of you. And doing the great work. Keep doing the great work, and do not fall with doubts. You just believe in yourself. Do your best. Your country needs you. Your land needs you. Society needs you. Family needs you. So do not stop doing what you're doing. And we are all together. Please remember, we are one family. And we will always remain as one family. This is a promise.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mohanji.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mohanji.
Love you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much, Father.
Love you.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Love you, Father.
Love you too.
Bless you. Love you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
The session is still continuing. Session is not over. So please stay on. Nikita will continue. Yeah, take over, Nikunj. I'm just concerned people will leave when Mohanji leaves. That's it.
So Dr. Nikita is going to present the rest of the bit. So please start.
So after the talk by Mohanji and the importance of disaster preparedness, which we have seen, that he says that it is not at the individual level. We have to start at individual level, progress to community level, national level, and his vision is global level. So only when we understand that what we need to do for ourselves and our family, then only we will be able to contribute at a large
Mohanji, leave it.
Can I please request everyone to mute themselves? Thank you. Dr. Nikita, you can resume. Thank you.
So only when we get prepared at our own level, then only we will be able to contribute and will be able to fulfill the vision which Mohanji has for all of us, that we should be able, because disaster does not see sex, does not see color, does not see creed and or nationality. It can affect everyone. And only when we understand and we realize the importance of preparedness, we'll be able to proceed further. So coming to floods, and floods is also something which we have been seeing very frequently and for granted. So preparedness again for floods, most of the points would be common for floods and cyclones. I would just like to apprise to you in brief that the foremost thing is we need to stay calm and we have to ignore rumors, because rumors is something which really unnerves us. We would come to know that someone has said that this speed of wind is going on and the floods are going to come from this direction. So I think we should only rely on official information, and we should always keep our mobile phones charged, and people who are staying in flood prone areas or we know a warning of floods, we should always keep a battery backup, because that will be your only mode of communication when the electricity are able to communicate with anyone. People who have pets at home should always untie the pets in situations of cyclones and floods, and because we need to ensure their safety, because they are also part of our family. And emergency kits, I would be delving it into on my next slide, that we need to have emergency kits. This is again something which we would think that it is not worth investing and I will not be affected. As Father said, we all feel that it's not going to happen to me, but it can happen to any of us. So it is a worth investment to have an emergency kit at home and periodically checking it and replenishing it and replacing it. So we need to keep our documents and valuables in waterproof bags. We should know the safe route to nearest shelter. And if we are very sure that we are in a place where the flood water will definitely come, we should evacuate to a raised pakka house. And if the government officials have given a warning, we should not wait for the floods to come and rather evacuate immediately to safe places. And in our emergency kit, as well as in other situations, we should store ready to feed non-perishable food and water for at least 1 week. This is again very important, especially if we have senior citizens and small children at home. And during the floods,
Dr. Nikita, maybe we can take questions from people as well after each section in case they want to ask. So
Okay.
if any of you all want to ask something, please don't hesitate. Bring in your question before we move into the next slide.
So I would be finishing one kind of calamity, and if anybody has a question, you can interrupt and ask me, Dr. Wazir or Dr. Juneja. We are all on board. And we should stay away from sewage lines, gutters and drains, because that is the place from where suddenly water can come. And we should understand that water can just carry us away. And you would all have read the newspaper a year back when a doctor who was coming from the hospital, and because of the severe rains during floods, he just got out of the car and not seeing the gutter, he was just washed away. He was just bang near his house, but because the gutters were not marked, and he just got out of his car and went inside the gutter, and his body was recovered after 7 days. So these are certain things which we really need to be aware of, and we should not take things for granted. So mark any open drains or manholes with visible signs like red flags or barricades, which we need to do at a community level, especially if we are staying in societies and we know we have a gutter or a drain near a society. And during floods, we need to look after ourselves, our food, our water. So you use boiled and chlorinated water, because waterborne diseases like cholera, food poisoning, and mosquito-borne diseases become very common during this time. So we have to look after our health and hygiene also. And we have to use disinfectants to keep our surroundings clean to prevent from any infestation. And after the floods, we should not allow our children to play in or near flood waters, because they are a source of big infection. And we should turn off utilities at main switches and unplug appliances. Because of the water, we can suddenly get an electric shock. And we should watch out for broken electric poles, wires, sharp objects, and debris to prevent for any other injury. We would have recovered the flood, but these things, if we are not wary of, they can cause a severe calamity. And if we need to evacuate, and if the water rises to a very alarming level, we have to leave our houses and go, we know that the property at home might get affected. So we should raise furniture, appliances on beds and tables. This is a very important point, put sandbags in the toilet bowl and cover all drain holes to prevent sewage backflow. People in the upper part of the northern part of the country might feel that they don't have floods, but people in the eastern part of the country, they do face it very often. You should turn off power and gas connection, move to a higher ground and safe shelter, and take the emergency kit along when you have to evacuate your home. And we should not enter deep unknown waters, use a stick to check water depth. Come back home only when officials ask you to do, and clean and disinfect everything that has got wet when you have come back to your home, and make a family communication plan, which is a very, very important thing for all of us. Now coming to cyclones. Before I come to cyclones, if anybody has a pertinent point to make, Dr. Harpreet sir, if you would like to say something, or Dr. Juneja.
Yeah, Dr. Juneja and Dr. Wazir, please share your thoughts if you have any. And also, if any of you want to share your thoughts or have questions, please feel free to bring them forth.
Shomadi, you all are in the floods affected areas. You all have encountered any situation where you felt that you did not take adequate precaution, or you had taken precautions and it helped you. You can share your anecdotes with us, because Kolkata has been affected with cyclones and all this. And people from Kerala, if they have faced any kind of calamities during the Kerala floods, can also share this for a better understanding for everyone.
Yeah, I think if you all share your experiences, it might help others who haven't faced it as well. So, it's a good idea, even if it's not a question, to just share your experience, or if you prepare for it, or anything that you've experienced will be useful for people to be prepared with. It'll be good to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. During the recent Amphan flood, we were not prepared. I didn't even expect something like that to happen, We thought cyclone means it will be, the wind will blow very fast and then it will pass after an hour. But when it happened, it was so magnanimous. It just kind of shook us, and not only the wind speed was very high, there was I mean, the water was just gushing in from the windows. We could not stop it. We were not prepared. Had we prepared for this, we would have done something, taken some precaution to, you know, stop the flow of water, or done some kind of thing, you know, kept newspapers. We didn't know what to do. It was complete confusion. And the current went off, and myself and Kalol, we were, you know, looking for candles here and there, no preparedness. We didn't keep anything handy. I mean, we were just not prepared for it. So I think, yes, it was a big learning lesson for us. So next time, you know, we knew what to do. We'll be much more prepared. So I think what Dr. Nikita and everyone else is pointing out, I think preparedness makes a lot of difference. Had we been prepared, I think we would have handled the situation much better. So yeah.
Thank you, Shomadi. Anyone else would like to share? Dr. Vasir, would you like to share your thoughts on it?
No, I think the only thing which I would just add to what Somaji just mentioned is that we just tend to take everything for granted. You know, till now, these words like earthquakes and floods and cyclones, except for the very few people who have had first-hand experience, you know, these words are just English words which we have read about and which we've seen in movies and photographs. But we take it for granted that, okay, it's an earthquake, like what Father also mentioned, that when it comes, you know, it just comes. It's not going to knock at your door and ask you that, can I enter or not? So I think we have to change our mindset of this taking for granted stuff and be prepared that, yes, you know, it's going to come. It's going to happen anytime, any moment. So, I mean, we've faced it. We were operating on the second floor and in our hospital, and suddenly, you know, you see these glucose bottles just moving. And believe me, I'm not joking about it. Initially, you know, nobody was even aware of the fact what's happening till the time somebody said, well, it's an earthquake. And the moment we heard it's an earthquake, we were on the operating table. And I'm telling you, it was as if, you know, they say that you're feeling so dizzy and you're just going to fall off. And I mean, the scare factor was 100% in our minds, even if the Richter scale was just 4.5 that time. So when it happens, that time you realize what it is. And the same thing happened when Father mentioned that in Delhi NCR, when this thing happened a couple of times. You know, one of those days I was sitting, I was at home, and suddenly I'm sitting on the chair and I realized that what happened here? Why am I feeling dizzy? And it's not dizziness. It was actually an earthquake. And I got so scared. I said, like, gosh, is it an earthquake? So it was like, you know, you've taken it for granted that this is happening. And when it actually happens, you realize that what is it? And that's what Somaji just mentioned. So I think it's high time we took all these things very seriously and really got down to the fact that let's do something about it on an individual level.
May I say something?
Yes, Dr. Juneja, please.
Okay, I'd just like to go a little bit on the practical side of it.
Yes,
Like,
sure.
if you take each disaster, I mean, everybody must be wondering, but how do we do it? What will we do? How do we get into our head disaster? So don't get worried. Everybody should not think, my God, you know. So one has to just go through whatever literature comes up, whatever is put on YouTube or whatever is circulated. If you just go through it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, I'm sure you will be able to know at least, if not 10, about 8 points as to what we should do. And if you repeat it, I'm sure one will just it'll come automatically when and if such a thing happens.
Yeah, that's a very important aspect, Dr. Juneja, that we give it some time, we read it over, we digest it, and it becomes a part of us. So yeah. And I think the same with the presentations, like what Dr. Nikita is pointing out. So if you do think that, you know, you're not being able to register something, or you do want to ask about a certain point, please do ask. And we'll anyways be sharing all these details with you. So even after this Zoom call, if you want to go over things with the team, with all the 3 doctors or the team here, please do contact us, and we can all work it on together. So important is for us to actually let it all sink in and imbibe them. Like, let it not be just something we hear today and again forget. So we have to imbibe it and actually apply them in our lives and understand that it's very important for us to be aware of them. So
just want to suggest taking into consideration the flood scenario of Chennai and Kerala, what we had. Can we do something for animals also, because they are the main, we've seen lot of animals being, they're suffering. There is no help for them. Something if we can have a act around it. And second is water. We had faced a lot of problems in Chennai when during the flood, we had no drinking water. And even the drinking water was turned into, like I can say, it was ultimately a disaster. So something we can do about some water connections over there or something. There's two major problems we had. That's it.
I think these are very important aspects, because anyways, it's about all beings, not just human beings. So that's important. And of course, water. So we are noting these suggestions, and we'll of course discuss and make sure these are all covered as well, which I think they are, but we can discuss about all of them in detail as well. Anyone else would like to bring in some point or ask questions before?
Normally, sorry.
Yes,
when we make a kit, we always have to put alum in it. So during the floods, when you add alum to the water, it gets cleared. This is something which should be added to the kit, so that if you don't have the drinking water, at least you can purify it. So it becomes, then you can boil the water and it becomes drinkable.
Thank you for sharing that. We'll make a note of that also and we'll incorporate that. Thank you, Nirupaji.
So I just want to add one thing, although you may be well prepared with everything, but when it actually happens, you need to be very calm. I've seen people, we know that we know everything. When in Delhi, I was in Gurgaon that time, we had an earthquake, a very major earthquake, and we were on the 14th floor. And I know people, who used to talk, "Arey, koi baat nahi, we know what to do, never take a lift." And those were the guys who took the lift, just forgot. So the most important thing, I think, is that to keep your wits about and be calm. First and the foremost thing, that I realized that my God, these were the people who used to say, never take a lift, and they were the ones who took it, so yeah.
Out of panic, that happens. Very true.
Yes. So when it
so I think it's important we reiterate and emphasize on that as well. That,
yes.
That keep our
First
composure.
the foremost thing, to keep your wits about. Yeah.
Thank you,
sorry, I have a question. It's Pooja.
Yes, Pooja. Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to know, actually, would you be sharing with us what should be part of the emergency kits? Like, I would like to have, like to make one for my home as well.
It will not be a very exhaustive list, because we are subsequently going to circulate the list. So in the presentation, I'll just give a small gist, but that is there in our agenda to circulate the list, what is mandatory for the emergency kit. So, but in a short, I will tell today, but it is part of our webinar where we will be conducting training drills. So that time we will also tell all the important ingredients of an emergency kit as a part of disaster preparedness.
So that would also include the documents in the waterproof, documents in the, so all of that would be part of it, right? Sorry, regarding the timelines, when is that expected?
So Pooja, this one is more like an introductory webinar to just sensitize us towards disaster in the various aspects. And we'll soon have follow-up webinars, probably 2 more or 3 more, where all of these will be distributed. So we will share it on the global group and the India group, and you'll come to know about it.
Okay, thank you so much.
I think we can continue, Dr. Nikita, the rest of your presentation.
So now I will come to the cyclones. Cyclones is another one thing which most of the eastern part of our country we have faced very, very frequently in this year, last year, Amphan, Nisarg. So most of the points, they are in common to the floods. But again, most important, we need to prepare an emergency kit for survival. And as Renuji said, the first and foremost thing for any disaster is stay calm and don't panic. We should keep movable items tight, because that is a time when, because of the large wind speed, the glass windows, they go off, they shatter, and it's not the cyclone, but the glass windows, glass which causes injury to the eye. We should keep our mobile phones charged so that we know we have a mode of communication, listen to the media and not listen to rumors, and keep all our documents and valuables safe in waterproof containers, because cyclones can subsequently follow with huge torrential rains. And as we discussed, and as Nina ji also said, that it is for other animals as well as pets who are at our home, we need to untie them to ensure their safety. And in case there is a storm surge or tide warning, we should move nearest safe high ground and safest access. And in our emergency kit, as well as we need to have adequate ready to eat food, which would last for a week. Conduct mock drills for your family and community. So after this talk, I think very frequently we should have, at least as part of AmuCare, we can organize mock drills for Mohanji and AmuCare family periodically, so that it can get incorporated in us. And if it gets incorporated in us, we can also spread to our own near relatives and families. And we should close the doors and windows securely and evacuate immediately to safe places when directed by government officials. During the cyclones, if we are indoors, switch off all electrical mains, unplug all electrical appliances and gas connection, keep doors and windows shut. If your house is unsafe, leave early before the onset of a larger cyclone. Listen to radio, drink boiled and chlorinated water. And if you feel that the building starts to crumble and you're not able to evacuate yourself, please protect yourself with mattresses, rugs, or blankets. And if one is outdoor during a cyclone, do not enter damaged building. Seek a safe shelter as soon as possible, and beware the calm eye. If the wind drops, don't assume that the cyclone is over. Violent winds may soon resume from another direction, and wait for the official to give a warning, or rather give an alarm to all of us that it is all clear. And after a cyclone, we have to look after the hygiene. That is the time when we need to look after the hygiene of ourselves and our family members by drinking boiled chlorinated water, not go out until officially advised. And if we have evacuated, wait until advised to go back, and do not enter damaged buildings. Now we come to an aspect which, although we might not call as a disaster, but it is something which we are facing in our country, and probably it is happening globally, but we face very frequently, sometimes because of communalism, and more importantly because of political innovation, and that is riots. And as Father said, that it is during that time we really need to be calm, we need to stay in harmony as a community and help each other. It is a violent disturbance of the peace by an assembly or body of persons. So before the riots, and if we feel that it might happen, we should report any suspicious behavior or unauthorized persons in our surrounding to the police department. We should stay inside and away from doors and windows, because this is the time stone pelting happens, and the mob tries to throw explosive substances in the houses, and even the innocent become prey to these. So we need to have a response even in this type of disasters. And during the riots, or during when the mob is totally amok, we should secure our area, keep our valuables in a safe place, keep the doors, safes, and silos and expensive equipment locked. Be vigilant and aware of unfolding events. Do not engage in verbal confrontations. Do not physically engage protesters. And if you are personally confronted, remain calm and try not to raise your voice or escalate the situation. These things might seem very trivial, but someone who has faced it realize and agree with me that one faces such kind of things, like it recently happened in Delhi, it really unnerves us. It plays a great havoc not only on our physical being, but it also plays havoc on our psychological well-being. So we need to know that what to do in such circumstances. So I would just like to, in a very nutshell, tell what is a part of an emergency kit, but it is not exhaustive and comprehensive. It is an emergency.
Dr. Nikita, before you move on to the emergency kit, can we still again ask if anyone wants to know anything about the last section? So anyone has any other question, or you want to put your points forth, please do.
Hi, this is Kedar here.
Yes, Kedar.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one question. What about the people who are physically challenged people? So how we should take care of them, or how they should take care of themselves in such kind of situations?
Harpreet sir, you would like to answer this question?
No, I think, Kedar, your question is very, very valid. Now, it all depends on two things. Number one, what is the type of condition of the physical challenge which that person is having? And the second thing is, what is the level and quantity of help he or she requires? Right? Now, if that person is severe, then there is have to save yourself. You have to be safe. Only then you'll be able to save that person. And physical support, that's the most important thing, and that all depends on the circumstances and the patient. I don't think there's going to be any separate protocol or any separate thing of keeping them in mind, right? I think whatever the situation is, it has to be tackled there and then. Keep in mind what the problem is. But yes, it all depends what is the gravity of it and how much of help they require. And the same holds true for elderly people. You know, if there is a person who's 80 years, the amount of physical help he or she needs is going to be very different from a person who's 70 years. So you cannot leave an 80-year-old person, in a room when there is a problem going on. You have to help them. But at the same time, you have to see how safe, what are the safety features and what are the safety mechanisms which you have in your hand. So I think definitely 200%, they will require all kind of physical help first. And that depends on the circumstances and the environment which the condition is.
Especially in cases of calamities where we have got some warning and we see that it might help us, we can evacuate them before, like especially in cases of cyclones and floods. So rather than an emergency, we can actually send them to our nearest relatives or family's house and not reach to a level where it will be difficult to evacuate them at that particular time, if we do have some time. So that is another thing which we can do for physically informed or elderly senior citizens at home.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to ask anything? Okay, so we can now proceed with the next section, Dr. Nikita. Also, I would like to tell all of you all that in the chat box, I am sharing Somadhi's and Aditya's phone number. So any of you who have suggestions, a lot of you have suggestions and ideas, you all can actually share there. And also there is a Google form shared in the group. So please fill in your details and send, because through it only we'll know who all to send all the details and information to. So that's mandatory. So please do fill in the Google form. So we have all the information and we have your contact details. So we can send you all the required presentation and the kit details to you later. Thank you. Dr. Nikita, over to you.
So as part of the emergency kit, we need water and food which can sustain us minimum for a week. We should always have a battery powered flashlight in our emergency kit, a first aid kit which contains the emergency medicines, which we will be sending as a leaflet to all of you, a whistle which might help us to signal for help, and a plastic sheeting and duct tape in case we need to stay in a place so that we can shelter ourselves, especially in cases of cyclone and floods, moist toilets and garbage bags and plastic ties for personal sanitation. And although, especially this is part of the emergency kit which has been given by the US Disaster Management Society to have wrench or pliers to turn off all utilities, and cell phone with chargers and backup batteries. This I've just given a very cursory list. It is very, very exhaustive, which so we will be distributing either the leaflets or sent across to you. So that will be very exhaustive, and the correct emergency kit which we have in our mind. This is just in a nutshell. And now you would want to know whom to reach. So as Madhu outlined in the very beginning, this particular disaster preparedness, initially we were only focusing to started to one part of the country and then to reach at a national level and then globally. So we were just trying to compile how to go about it. So we were just trying to see how we can do at the NCR level. So at the national level, we know that the Disaster Management Authority is there, but as far as RM family is concerned, we just try to see how we do at the NCR level. So we divided the NCR into 5 areas, and we made some zonal heads, which would help, who would help us in the disaster preparedness, who would tell us what to do. So this is which is our outline at present. And subsequently, once we have chalked out, we would hold in the next webinar, we will be explaining it in more detail. But this is just an outline or just the skeleton when we had decided for the NCR with the lot of threats of earthquakes in the NCR region. So I would like to conclude by the take home message, which as Renuji said, as Father said, which is number 1, number 2, and number 3. That is, stay calm, do not panic. Stay calm, do not panic. We should stay away from rumors. And the most important take home message of today's talk, of today's webinar, is that let us be disaster conscious. Only when we are disaster conscious, we can have preparedness awareness. Because if we don't expect that a disaster might affect us, we will not go on for preparedness. So if we are disaster conscious, if we feel that we might be the one who can get affected, we'll start the preparedness right away from tomorrow. Keep your emergency kits ready. It is a worth investment, and you need to check it and replenish periodically. Make a family communication as well as evacuation plan. And as said, maybe once a week or once in a fortnight on a holiday, the whole family can sit together and just talk that in case we have this kind of disaster. So how should we communicate to each other? Where should we get evacuated from? We have 5 rooms. What should be our exit plan? If there is an earthquake, we should tell our children again and again that don't use the lift. You have to use a staircase. So these are small steps which we don't even give cognizance to, but they are very, very important. And God forbids, if one of us has to face it, and if we are aware of it, maybe we can mitigate the effect of the disaster. And drills should be practiced regularly at individual, family, and community level. So you need to have an affirmation that my family is prepared. So the secret of crisis management is not good versus bad. It's preventing the bad from getting worse. Because by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So all friends and family members, I would be concluding my talk. If anyone wants to ask any question, we are most welcome to take it.
Thank you, Dr. Nikita. Dr. Waseer and Dr. Juneja, would you like to add on anything, any comments, any points? Would anyone want to ask, anyone of you want to ask any question, anything else you want to address? Please do ask.
I think to begin with, this was a very comprehensive introduction. And this has at least, even for a person like me, this has opened my eyes for a lot of aspects. And to begin with, to lay the foundation, as what Father also mentioned, I think this was a good enough wake-up call for us to just be prepared and just tell ourselves that, yes, something has to be done.
Yes, Dr. Waseer, what you said is really correct. It's like a reality check for us, and like, take a pause, and actually also it's about being informed. So that's what happened with all your inputs, yours and Dr. Nikita's, Dr. Juneja's. So it was really educative for us to know a lot of aspects. And I know we'll all take some time to digest it, and we'll share all of these information with everybody. And I know it's going to be an ongoing process, but it definitely was a very good start. So thank you for that. Before we close, I will again want to ask if anyone has any more questions so we can address them. Or you can also get in touch with us. I've shared the numbers as well. Kavita, do you want to ask a question? You unmuted yourself. Okay. So thank you so much. I'm assuming there are no more questions. Dr. Nikita, Dr. Waseer, Dr. Juneja, thank you so much for joining us for this session. It was very informative, and we'll have everyone join hands with this whole project. And also, Father always says that the world needs more leaders than followers. So we as a small team can come together, understand it, be more prepared, and then help many more people to be more prepared for these disasters. So we'll have subsequent webinars, which will be beyond the introductory, where we'll talk about the kits, about the training. So you're all welcome, and we request all of you all to join, because that's the important aspect, where we learn how to be prepared. So we'll share the details of those soon. And also again, a reminder to fill in the Google Forms so that we have your details and we can start sharing all the information that is required.
Thank you so much for the active part.
Yes, thank you everyone for being a part of this. And we look forward to meeting you all again for the next webinar. So we'll close today's session at this. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Nikita.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Dr.
much.
Vasir.
Thank you, Madhu.
Thank you, Nikunj.
Thank you, Madhu, so far.
Doctor, Dr. Nitika, Dr. Wazir, and Dr.
Thank
Junaida.
you so much. Thank you so much, doctors. Thank you.